Stepson, 12 male, doesn't want to get COVID vaccine. Hey everybody, I don't know what to do. My stepson is 12 years old and doesn't want the COVID vaccine, mostly because he is scared it will hurt. He also believes some stories his bio mom told him, who is an anti-vaxxer. As far as I know, he doesn't believe in the completely crazy stories, 5G, etc. But does think the vaccine isn't tested good enough, and he says he is healthy, so he probably won't get sick anyway. He doesn't seem to care that his little brother, my stepson, M8, has asthma, and his little sister, my bio daughter, F1, has lung problems as well. We don't know what exactly yet, but one time she just stopped breathing at all. She often seems out of breath and has many other health issues. Then there's me, who also has lung problems, and I get sick very easily and often. If any of us three would get COVID, there's a good chance we either get really sick, or worse. My stepson just started to attend high school, Netherlands, and there is a loot of COVID going around in high schools. I'm scared as hell he will get it and infect my stepson or daughter. His father and I are both fully vaccinated. Edit. In the Netherlands, kids aged 12–17 have to decide themselves. They have to tell the vaccine people, not sure how to call them in English. They want it. If they say they don't or say nothing, they won't get vaccinated. Edit 2. I'm not asking how I can force the vaccine on him. I'm asking how to keep the rest of my family, and my daughter, for the one saying I have no say in any of it, safe from his decisions to not care about anything. He doesn't want to get vaccinated, but he also won't get tested whenever. He won't keep his distance from whomever. He simply thinks he is unbreakable or something. Edit 3. I do care about him. I also care about his little brother, not my bio child either. I've taken care of my oldest stepson for almost 5 years. He was with me 11 per 14 days, went to his mom every other weekend, and his father worked most of those days. I got him to school, picked him up, often took him to bed. I was the primary caregiver. I care about his health and would love for him to get vaccinated for himself, but he chooses not to, and while I do not understand, I try to. But my younger stepson and my daughter are even more at risk because of his decision. And this is what scares me and why I ask for tips on how I can keep them safe. So saying I only care about my bio kids is hurtful. For one, I only have one bio kid and can't have more. So the other kid I try to protect is also my stepson and not my bioson. Saying I don't care about them is awful. I was terrified of vaccines as a kid, and it made me distrust the medical community and my parents when I was forced to get them anyway. I am very pro-vaccine. Just terrified of needles and desperately needed bodily autonomy. Thinking back, I think it really would have helped to go with my parents when they got vaccines, which they never did because they were adults. Is there any vaccine you are due for? Flu? TDAP? Could he go with either of you and just see they aren't a big deal? Tell him this story then. My best friend's brother isn't even 40. He's married to his high school sweetheart and has 3 kids. He wasn't sure about the vaccine either, so he didn't get it. He has been in the hospital for a month now. He's on a ventilator and ECMO. They're going to do a tracheotomy to wean him off the vent. He needs a lung transplant because of how much damage they sustained from the Delta variant. He can't see his kids or his mother. He was heavily sedated for almost 3 weeks because he couldn't breathe and kept pulling his oxygen out because he was uncomfortable, so they sedated him so he could sleep through the pain and discomfort. He may be in the hospital for several more weeks, if not months. But I'm sure his arm hurting for a day would definitely be worse than that. You may get sick for a day after, but the shot was the least painful shot I've ever gotten. I was shocked. Literally felt like nothing. The flu shot is worse in terms of pain. Okay, help me out here. Serious inquiries, honest. A person who has the COVID vaccine can still get COVID, right? A person who has the vaccine can get and still spread the virus, right? As far as I have been told, the vaccine only limits the severity of the virus if you do get it, right? Isn't this a decision the parents should be making, not the 12-year-old? Edit. Reading some of your other comments. You have a boyfriend problem, not a stepson problem. Take him to his doctor to talk about those concerns he has. They might be able to explain how the vaccine was created and tested better than a layman, and what symptoms to expect after getting the shot. Remind him that if he gets the shot, he's protecting not just himself but his siblings and others around him. I hope he comes around. Your boyfriend thinks only stepson 12 matters. He doesn't care if his daughter, or 8-year-old gets sick and possibly die. He won't even show the 12 years old the reality of COVID. You need to find someone that actually values you and your child. You have an significant other problem. He should be able to make that choice for himself, it's his body, Jesus. I refuse to accept my husband's apologies. Me, female 39, and my husband, male 38, have known each other since secondary school. We dated briefly then but broke up and didn't have any contact until we met again 13 years ago. I was slim in a secondary school, but by the time we met again I struggled with my weight gain as I had some heart issues and undiagnosed thyroid problems. I struggled with depression and anxiety because of that, as I come from the country where everyone feels entitled to belittling and giving you unwanted advice on losing weight. I fought to accept myself for years. I managed to get my depression in check with meds and got back to swimming. Wearing a swimsuit was out of the question for years because of comments and hostile behavior I encountered when I gained weight. On to the issue. We have been married for 11 years and have a daughter. We were very happy until my husband started having problems with alcohol and due to that being dishonest with me. In the meantime we moved abroad and are raising our daughter together. We managed to go through the worst and are quite amicable at the moment. He was quite verbally abusive for a while when he drank the most. That changed our relationship forever, but I thought we could still stay together as we still cared for each other. For the last 3 years our sex life was declining a lot, and as I have a high sex drive I struggled with it a lot. I tried to talk to him and explained my expectations repeatedly, but nothing changed. It was very difficult for me. I initiated all the intimacy and he basically did it as fast as possible. I even started considering an affair as I felt unhappy. I felt unattractive and sad about it. Other men expressed interest in me, but my husband felt like a friend and flatmate. A few days ago we were watching TV together and I saw some photos of my 27-year-old niece who recently went blonde, and I thought that with age and new hair color she looked similar to me. I showed the photo to my husband and commented that she looks similar to me now. He replied that it was true and what a shame that she obviously let herself go that way. When he saw my mortified expression, he quickly added that she was young and I was sick and old, so she had no excuse to look that bad and unattractive. I told him to stop. He tried to apologize repeatedly, but I refused to accept it every time. I believe he regrets saying all that, but at the same time I believe he meant every single word. My heart broke to 1,000 pieces. Heartbreak, I don't think I can get over it. I don't know where to go from that. Crying. You two have been unhappy for a long time. Maybe divorce is inevitable. Sounds like the truth slipped out. Oomph. You're 39 years old, not a relic. How the hell are you old? He's a damn abusive prick. Personally, I'd leave. You're teaching your daughter it's okay to be verbally abused. Let me tell you this. You are beautiful. You are a mother and your body has gone through a lot over the years. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise, even if you decide to or not to stay in this relationship. We only have one life and I want you to live happy. Smile. Just because someone apologizes, even when they mean it, doesn't mean it makes anything okay. He can't unring that bell. You've heard it and I suspect you keep hearing it repeated over and over in your head. There's very little he can do to make up for what he said because nothing can take it back. Don't cheat on him to make yourself feel better. Not knowing how to deal with this is quite normal. Sometimes relationships need electroshocks to either come back to life or help both move on to the next phase in their lives. There is taking back these words, and quite frankly, apologizing are also just words. Where is the action? Does he not feel the need to win you back? Prove his love? Maybe he's taking you for granted? Oh wow. Get the divorce you should have gotten years ago and be happy. I, 30F. Don't think my husband, 31M, likes me anymore. We've been married for 8 years and have 2 children together. Recently, I've come to the realization that my husband doesn't like me very much anymore. When we met, I was the complete opposite of the girl his family expected him to marry, and I think that's partly what made him like me so much. However, I suspect over the years he has started to want that type of girl, but I don't think I could ever be her. We had to spend a lot of time together because of the lockdowns, and it has made me realize that I don't think he really likes me anymore. He would make comments about how I must be happy that everything is cancelled because I didn't have to grin and bear it whenever he needed me to go somewhere with him. We were talking about our children's future, and he mentioned wanting to get a nanny who could teach them French, and I was against it because I don't want a nanny in general, and he gave me this look and said, "Of course, you wouldn't," but it sounded like an insult. Once when we were visiting his parents, his mother asked me to help her with something and he interrupted and told her not to ask me because I didn't like doing things like that and she should ask his cousin instead, but again, it felt like an insult. There have been other incidents too and times where I feel like he was secretly pushing me to behave like the other women in our social circle. I've tried speaking to him about it and his response was, "You're the mother of my children, of course I love you," which did nothing to make me feel better. I feel like he regrets marrying me, but since we have kids he feels like he's stuck with me. I don't want this to turn into resentment, but I'm not sure how to address it either. Please help. Too long did not read. Husband has said and done things which make me feel like he no longer likes me. Sounds like he feels disconnected. The words he used suggests that he may feel you don't like him anymore. Do you enjoy doing the same things? Are you active in each other's interests? Does he feel you still like and want him? Does he return or initiate physical intimacy? Make some time for each other. Plan an activity that you both enjoy and make time for it. Spontaneously help him with something he enjoys. Drop hints for him to do the same. Either he will be into bringing the spark back, or if he is not into doing anything with you, even if it's something he enjoys, you may have to have another talk. Good luck. I don't know if it's possible for you, but couples counseling may help. The comments you shared don't seem that bad. Was he wrong with any of them? Those comments sound like frustration or resentful protection. Do you like him? If I wasn't the mother of your children, would you still love me? It sounds like there's resentment there, but he may very well love you deeply. Marriages go through hard things. There are times where I'm not crazy about my husband, but with good communication and work we always get back to feeling good about us. I've tried speaking to him about it and his response was, "You're the mother of my children, of course I love you." Did you stop there? If so, ask him to sit down and dig deeper. Your husband is the only one who can answer your question and there really aren't many tea leaves you can draw from. Go over your concerns and ask him to explain the statements you have raised in this post. Are there things that make you unhappy in this relationship other than how he speaks to you from time to time? If so, dive into those as well. In summary, don't accept dismissive answers. Or, if he's being honest with his answers, shine a light on situations or other things he has said that conflicts with his answer and ask him to how to make sense of the conflict. Sorry, that sounds an awful way to feel. My immediate question is, do you like you? Are you making time for yourself to grow and learn? It kind of sounded like you feel your husband was rebelling against his family by being with you. For the French thing, could you compromise and get a French tutor for a couple of hours a week? Every relationship goes through different chapters as your needs and wants both individually and as a couple change. The key is to move through this change respectfully of yourselves and each other and to find ways to compromise. A couples therapist can help you learn how to go through this transition more smoothly and help you both identify what you each need from the other. I'm not sure how your husband feels about you from these details, but I do know that he seems to be undercutting and disrespecting you with these little jabs. I don't know what that's about. There's nothing wrong with who you are and he married you for a reason. It's kind of you to think of how to fix this. I know this isn't what you asked, but from my perspective the onus is on him to stop being an ass. How can I show my boyfriend that the small things he does mean so much to me? This is a throwaway account since he knows my actual account. Me, 22F, and my boyfriend, 21M, have been dating for 4 months now, and he has done such subtle things that have meant the world to me. I've always been very insecure, and through 3 relationships my partners were never very affectionate and reassuring, which is what I wanted but never attracted apparently, so it never helped my insecurities much. But being with him, I've never been so happy to be in me. I hate my body, I've always been slightly overweight but it mainly shows in my stomach, so I always wear loose clothing. A couple days ago, I wore something a little tighter than usual on a date with him and immediately he called me breathtaking and talked about how stunning I looked. Or I have chubby fingers, and every time we hold hands he makes sure to kiss every one of them. I also have some lines on my wrist, not the good kind, but they're healed, that I've made during past relationships. He noticed them, carefully dragged his finger over all of them and told me that he hopes to never make me feel as if I had to do that again, and if he did he would hate himself forever. And something he says a lot is that no matter how I look, if I gain or lose weight, change my hair or not, I will always be perfect in his eyes because I'm me. And I've never had someone say that to me, or make me feel so worthy of being alive, and I tell him how much it means to me but he doesn't seem to understand just how much it does. Is there any better way I can tell him? This is so sweet to read. Honestly, all you can really do is keep reinforcing how much it means to you. and try to reciprocate with small meaningful things in return. Very happy for you and your newfound romantic happiness. Most people behave towards others how they want to be treated. So kiss his forehead, hug him tightly and honestly. Tell him you love him. 'Cause it sure sounds like you do. This made me cry, it's so sweet. You deserve a good kind person and it sounds like you've found him. Be good to him, and treat him well. Sounds as though you've expressed how much you appreciate him already, so don't be repetitive. Thank you for sharing this wholesomeness. Find out what his love language is and use it to lavish love on him. I really have no advice to give other than to comment that this is one of the sweetest posts on this sub, and I'm really happy you're in a better place with someone who treats you this wonderfully. The talk about love languages is a little cliché, but there's some value in understanding how he likes to feel valued, and communicating in that way. But chances are, if he's using his words to express to you how valuable you are, he'd appreciate hearing from you how valuable you find his words. So tell him, really, and from the heart. And if you can't because it makes you feel flustered or unsure, write it down. Or wait, you did. So just send him the link to this post. I'm not even your boyfriend and I appreciated it. Blowjobs. Seriously though, maybe notice and appreciate small details about him? Are there any things about him you think are particularly attractive? Tell him you think so. Definitely tell him how much you appreciate him. If you have trouble saying it, maybe you could write a letter or card. But it is good practice to say these things and you'll get better at it the more you do it.